E-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world at breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody, to Breakfast with Bob, the Not Quite Kona edition. We're brought to you by Master Spas, As Fuels Go Longer, Hoka Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Quintana Roo, Zoot, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest is a young man that it's the first time we've got an opportunity to chat with him. Sanele Shange joining us from South Africa. Sanele, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mr. Bob, and yourself?
I am wonderful. So tell me, Sanele, how did you find the sport of triathlon? What sports were you into growing up?
Before I joined triathlon, I was into athletics. And then I got after I came back from varsity, and then I was training. I was preparing to qualify for World Champs, and then after 3 months, on my preparation, again, I got injured. After I got injured, I have to sit home for a year for recovery. After I come back on athletics, I was like, nah, now I need to start doing something else because the guys were too fast for me. And then I was also inspired by Henry Schoeman, and then I was like, let me try something else now.
So triathlon was it and triathlon is fairly expensive when you start thinking about you have to get a bike, you've got to find out, you got to get entry fees, all that type of stuff. Was that a limitation at all for you?
No, it was hard for me because luckily I got people who I got a strong triathlon family who supported me, also Savages Athletics Club who also gave me a bike. It's a steel bike that I was able to train with. And also, I got friends who were able to pay me for my entry fees. And also, I was lucky to get Gary Babich, who's the guy who helped me from scratch, getting me training shoes, all the kinds of stuff, training clothes. And then that's how I was able to do triathlon.
Very cool. And did you start out thinking, okay, I like Henry, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to do the short distance, the draft legal. Did you start with that?
Honestly, I didn't start with that. I started doing duathlon, and then I got I have to qualify for World Champs. After I qualified for World Champs, I couldn't afford to go for World Champs, and I tried to raise some funds, and I couldn't reach to the target to take me to Canada. And then after that, I was able to buy a property tip bike with that money that I raised. I raised it was not that much, but I was able to get a property tip bike that we were able to train with. That's how I started to do triathlon.
Now, are there many Black South Africans doing triathlon?
No, yeah, there is many doing triathlon, but some of them, I think we are on the same sport. We can't afford the sport. So me, I was lucky I got people who support me because they see the hard work that I was doing. So they also got inspired. And now this guy is doing better. We need to do something for him.
So as you're going along, had there been any Black South Africans who had become professional triathletes?
Yeah, there is been no, there's not been some of the Blacks, but I was the first South African Black to be on the podium in African Championship in 2021.
Oh, and then so for you, speaking of South African Championship, so you went to Ironman South Africa in 2021. And
yeah, in 2021, that was my first full Ironman.
That's your first full Ironman. You go 8:41.
Yeah, we also got a short swim. I was lucky that we were able to swim. They didn't cut the swim because the condition was so rough. So we had to swim short, and then
right.
Yeah.
But still, you were the first South African in the 25-29, second in the division. That's now, did that qualify you for Kona?
Yeah, that's how I qualified to Kona. I was second in my age category, and then first South African. I was beaten by the guy from France, and then that's how I was able to get a slot to go to Kona.
So the good news on that, you get a spot to Kona, but there isn't a more expensive trip in the world than trying to go from South
Yeah,
Africa to Kona. There's a lot of expense tied to that.
yeah, it is expensive. Like I also after I get to the podium, I was like, nah, how do I get to Kona? I was lucky that time. I got a friend from a running club at Maroon Rapids who was
Yes.
able to pay for my entry fees. And then after he paid for my entry fees, I was like, nah, let me get this tour going. And then I will try to raise some funds. Guys, they did really help me a lot.
So hard. I mean, that's we think about because we're here on the West Coast, it's a 4-hour flight to Kona. It's not that big a deal. But for people other parts of the world, getting there, and then if you have a friend coming with, or you had to get a condo, you got to get a car, all of that. How long a trip was it from South Africa just to get to Kona for Ironman?
Yeah, it was a long trip. I don't lie to you. It's like a 2 day trip from South Africa to Kona.
What
It's
was
a long trip.
The Kona experience? Your goal was to swim an hour. You swam 101. Your goal was to do 5 hours on a bike, and you did 5 hours and 19 seconds. So you were right on pace. And then there was a crash of some sort. Was that towards the end of the bike?
No, I was like on the 85 kilometer to a turning point, and then like I was trying to go to the water point, and then like there was one guy who just went in front of me and then hit my front heel, and then I got to crash with him.
And so you cracked your helmet, bruised hip.
I cracked my helmet. It was too bad, but like I was like, nah, I've come a long way to give up now. I was lucky. My bike didn't break. Only my helmet that got a crack up right here.
Wow. That's cool.
So I
but
feel a little bit unconscious, and then I was like, nah, now I'm fine. Let me try to get back to the race.
Your marathon PR is at 2:32?
Yeah, mine is a 2:87. That is my personal best.
2:27?
2:37.
2:37 is your marathon PR.
Yeah, there's my marathon PR.
So after you fall on your hip, you end up running 3:24 and go 9:33, third South Africa. That's impressive for his first time to Kona.
Yeah, it was impressive, but like, according to my plan, like, I was heartbroken because like, I'm thinking if like I didn't crash on the bike, what was going to happen? Because my plan was like to swim sub 1 hour, bike sub 5 hours, and then I was aiming to run sub 250 off the bike.
250. That was the goal.
Yeah, that was part of my plan, but I couldn't run very well on the uphill because my hip hit my hip a lot, so like it was so painful on the run.
So that gives you a little unfinished business. So now, what's your goal? Is the African champs next March?
Yeah, next March my goal is to go and race there, and I want to win the age group category and also the overall, and I want to try to get to sub 9 hours. If I could be able to swim like 54 minutes and then bike 540, not bike 450, and then run sub 240. I wanna run very fast.
I mean, you've got the background. You certainly have the run background. So when you come back, the notes I was reading, it said that you're the first Black African to qualify for Kona. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
That is so cool. So what was the response when you came back from Kona, in terms of media, in terms of people in the area? Were people pretty excited for you?
Yeah, they were very excited for me because like they knew that I was going to do very better if I didn't crash on the bike. Most of the people, like, they were very happy for me. They're like, oh man, you did us very proud. Please make sure that next time you learn from the mistake that you make. But like, honestly, it was my first world champ. So like, I also learned a lot that like next time if I'm coming to Kona, I have to make sure that on the water point, I have to be safe, because they're the most hardest parts when you have to go to the water point, because there's like more than like 500 riders in front of you. So like when you have to go to the water point, you have to make sure that like there's enough space for you.
So yeah, so your learnings from, obviously you did everything right, swim, bike, and just had a crash.
Yeah.
Nutrition, everything else worked pretty well.
Yeah, it worked very well for me. Nutrition, like I did prepare myself. Like I was using Mortin, and also I'm supported by 32 GI. It's 32 GI supplement. Yeah, so like it works very well for me. If I didn't crash on the bike, the only point where I went wrong is when I crashed on the bike. The other
That
thing
was it.
was, yeah,
Everything
that
else
was
was
fine for
perfect.
me. Yeah,
And
it was perfect. But the condition was too bad.
what was just the experience like being in the mecca of triathlon? I mean, as somebody who's been in the sport for a little while, you knew, I'm sure, how cool Kona, the sort of the tradition of that island and the myths around it. Was that a pretty cool experience for you, just being on that Queen K highway and running on Elite Drive and coming down that finish line and hearing Mike Riley call your name?
Yeah, it was pretty cool for me. Like I couldn't believe that I was in Kona. I only believe in 2 days time that yeah, I'm in Kona, and then I was able to meet my hero Jan Frodeno.
Yes, I read that. So Jan Frodeno, what is it about Jan that you like?
Yeah, man, Jan Frodeno, he's the one who motivated me a lot, because like I've been following him's like documentary, how he trains. Before I went to PE in 2021, I was watching Jan Frodeno's document. So like how he trains, how he takes his nutrition, how he like prepare himself going to the race. I think that helps me a lot preparing to go to PE. That's how I was able to get to the podium.
Was he nice when you met him?
Yeah, man. I felt like I was dreaming. I don't want to lie to you.
He's a pretty special
I
guy.
even printed the picture I took with Jan Frodeno. It's on my wall.
As well, it should be. It's funny. We always say that the person who wins the Ironman sort of represents the sport, and Jan always represented the sport so well. It always takes the time. You saw him out there. He was working at the aid stations during the race.
Yeah, he was at the aid station, but I met him after the interview he had with you.
Oh, you met him after the interview?
Yeah, after the interview, and then I just went to him, Jan Frodeno, and I took pictures with him, and like we had quite a big chat with him. Like he also tells me like, next time this is what you need to do. For me to race very well, I need to swim at least more than 20 Ks a week.
So with Kona not happening for the men until 2024, what will be your major goal? What races will you be doing this coming year besides, the championships in March?
Now, for now, I want to qualify to go for World Champs. I had like going to France. I also want to go to France, and then like I want to just race in the World Champs, because I also got a goal of getting a pro card in 2 years time from now on.
You want to get your pro card?
Yeah, pro card in 2 years time from now on. That
What
is
do you
my
need?
main.
What do you need to get your pro card? Do you have to win a race? What is the criterion?
Yeah, you have to win the race, and also be like you have to have the fastest time to get to the pro card.
Got it. And so, what long-term goal do you see yourself going? Okay, I've got the background. There's no reason I can't go and win Ironman.
Yeah. I don't think like there's anything can stop me to win the Ironman, because like I'm a hard worker. I believe in myself. I believe also in my coach, my teammates. Yes. I know when you put the effort, and then like you put the hard work, nothing is impossible. You can win the races.
So when you're training, do you train on your own? Do you train in a group?
I train with a group, but most of the time, like I also train on my own. I do my own secret training. Like
you don't want,
with
yeah,
me,
you don't want to share too much with people.
Yeah, I can't go a week without doing a hill work, running hill work, and also biking on the hill work. So those are kind of my secret training.
You do most of your training in South Africa. You can do most of your training outdoors, right? You don't need to do a lot of indoor training.
I do a lot of outdoor training,
Yes.
but like sometimes I have to wake up around 2 o'clock and then I'll start getting into my indoor bike, and then the bike like 3 hours before I go and join the guys.
So
And then after I join
are you basically training full time? Do you have another job on top of that?
Nah, I do have a job. That's the problem. That's why I have to wake up. Sometimes I have to wake up around 3 o'clock training, and then after training I have to go for work. It's 8 hours work, and then after work I have to go also to training. So it's hard, but you just need to adjust your times.
So what type of work do you do?
It's a retail solution company.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you're a busy guy. You're balancing that, trying to become a
Yeah.
professional triathlete, wanting to win the Ironman. You got a lot of stuff on your plate.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff, but you know, man, you have to make time. If you don't have time, you have to make time. I work for my boss, and then I have to make time for my own.
Yes, you do. Now, do you have a family as well?
Yeah, I got a son who is 5 years old, Enzo Butle.
So what's your son's
like
name?
Enzo Butle, Enzo Butle.
Enzo Butle.
Yeah, it means doing well.
What does it mean?
It means doing well in everything.
Doing well in everything. Obviously, he is. What does he think of Daddy being a top triathlete?
Yeah, he also wants to do triathlon. That's why, like next year, I want to try him to start swimming, and also he's a good runner. So now you need to have a good swimming background. Once he got a swimming background, I think he will be like his father one day.
You see a lot of kids sort of following in your footsteps now that they see somebody that maybe who lives in the same area doing triathlon, and that now they're getting into the sport.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids who have seen me training. They want to try to train with me, but the thing, like, they don't have the bikes. But I only took them for a run if like I'm running off the bike, and then I'll just run with them 2Ks after 2Ks, and then I'll leave them and then I go on my own.
I love
And
that.
also there's like more of the Black South African guys who also started to do triathlon. They're like, nah, man, these guys are inspiring us. Let's try to do something. Like in our training group, we also got like 2 guys now who are training with me. Some of them, they have like win some of the small races around South Africa, like T-Men.
Is triathlon growing in South Africa?
Yeah, it is growing. I don't lie to you. Like in South Africa, but in KZN province, we got like a triathlon development that is helping some of the guys, like Black South Africans, to get into sport. I think we got like more than 50 of the guys who are into triathlon now.
It seems like you have there's so many great runners in South Africa that eventually at one point realize that, hey, I'm not going to the Olympics and running. We're going to come into triathlon.
Yeah, there is a lot of them, but the problem with them is like some of them, they can't swim.
Now, how hard did you have a swim background when you got into triathlon, or did you have to start from scratch?
For me, I started swimming in the rivers when I was very young.
Very young. Okay.
I used to, my parents used to beat me a lot because I used to go and swim in the rivers, because in the river they got crocodiles, snakes. So like I would say like now, because I love swimming, I would like let me go to swimming. When I come back, the only thing how they see me that I'm coming from the river, because like I couldn't like close my eyes under the water. So I always watch everything under the water, and then my eyes, they got red. Then how they were able to cut me down. Now this one is coming from the swim, and they always hit me.
No goggles back then.
No goggles, man. That's not.
If you had goggles, you probably would have seen the crocodiles, and you probably would have gotten out.
Exactly.
Did you ever see any snakes or crocodiles while you were swimming?
Only the crocodile.
You did. You saw a crocodile.
Yeah, crocodile. There's one mate that I was swimming with. We were trying to jump into the water. Yeah. And like the moment we were jumping into the water, and then we saw the crocodile coming toward us, and then it jumped in, and then he went out of the water. There was like, I think I was like 13 years old. I was so young.
And how scared were you?
Very scared, man.
I would never
I
get
think
in the water again if I saw a crocodile. I would never
was
get
the-
in there.
It was the same feeling I got when I was in Hawaii. I think 2 days when I was in Hawaii, I went for a 2K swim.
Yeah.
On like inside the water, and then I saw a big dolphin, and I was like, is it a shark? I was so scared. And after a few seconds, I saw like more than 15 dolphins swimming around me. That was the most amazing experience I got in Hawaii. I'll
I
never
think
forget about it.
dolphins are a little better than crocodiles.
Way better. They
That
are
must
so
have been hard
great.
because that water is so clear in Hawaii, and you see
Yeah,
this
it's
big
so
thing out
beautiful,
there
man.
with a fin. That had to be scary.
Yeah, some other day I was supposed to swim like 30 minutes. I end up swimming 1 hour daily.
That was very cool. Sanele, what a treat to get to meet you. I'm excited to watch your journey in the sport of triathlon. You're going to be great.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. I'm so happy to meet someone like you in my life.
Love it. Sanele Shange has been our guest. You will be seeing a lot of him moving forward, hopefully at the World Champ. Now, do you focus mainly on full Ironman now, or are you also doing 70.3?
Nah, full Ironman, man.
Full Ironman. Why go
But
half
for
when
big
I can go
guns,
full?
yeah. 70.3 it's for small guns. Big guns, full Ironman.
Anybody who swims with crocodiles should be doing full Ironman. That's exactly right. Sanele, thank you so much for taking time. I appreciate chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bob.
Sanele Shange has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Cool, man.